Good morning, Staples. It's Thursday, May 29th, and I'm Ben Goldstein. As you know, we had no school this past Monday. We created today's show as a tribute to Memorial Day, and we'll start that tribute in a minute. But first, we want you to see this announcement from Staples players about their new show, which opens tonight.
Worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world.
We have a special Pledge of Allegiance today that centers around an important ongoing project that we introduced on our Memorial Day show a number of years ago. Here's Coach Woog to let you know about it.
Several years ago, the Staples boys soccer program initiated a youth soccer ball drive called Kick for Nick. Nick Medeiros was a soccer player at Wilton High School who was killed in action in Iraq.
A son and a soldier died, but his spirit would endure. Nick Medeiros' life was over, but his legacy was just beginning to take shape, the shape of a ball.
He brought hundreds of pictures of the children, and he was very impressed with, the children and their skills and how they could, with tin cans, just kick the ball around, kick the tin can around. Mm-hmm. It just like soccer came naturally to them. Mm-hmm. All they needed was that ball. He asked us when he was home on leave. He did ask us to send him soccer balls, and just so he could share, the soccer balls with the kids.
He had been collecting soccer balls to distribute to Iraqi children, and the program continues, called Kick for Nick. If you'd like to drop off a used soccer ball or three, my office is in the Black Box Theater next to the TV studio. And now, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance led by Nick Medeiros' parents and former Staples soccer captain, current U.S. Navy Annapolis student, Sean Gallagher.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You saw Mr. Francis with the Medeiroses, Sean Gallagher, and former Staples English teacher Dan Garrity. Memorial Day holds a special meaning for Mr. Francis. Besides being a teacher and an administrator, Mr. Francis has had a long and illustrious career in the military. Renee Wise recently sat down with him to find out the story behind his dual careers.
Why would you choose to abandon your comfortable life and choose to join the Army?
My decision to join the military was kind of different than most people. I got into teaching in the late 70s, and when I got into teaching, there was a period of declining enrollment. So what that meant is that I would lose my job every year from teaching. So within a series of 3 years, I lost 3 teaching jobs because there were no kids to teach. So I was the first person to be hired. So I was the first one out the door. Last one to be hired, first one out the door. So after 3 years of that, I got pretty sick of not knowing I would have a job or not. So I'd always enjoyed team sports. I'd always enjoyed high school athletics, being part of a team. And I really started to do some soul searching. All of that kind of came together for me, and that's when I decided that I would look at the military as an option. And I was already out of college. I was a college graduate, so I enlisted in the Army, and I was fortunate enough to go to officer candidate school and get a commission as an officer at that time. So, you know, I didn't do it out of any great sense of patriotism. I didn't do it because I needed college money. I didn't do it, you know, because I had this great calling. It was something I thought was a challenge to me at that time. I will tell you that after spending a year in Iraq, I cannot hear the Star-Spangled Banner without getting choked up. So, you know, I didn't join it with any great sense of patriotism. It just brought it out in me when I saw what people were willing to go through, primarily for each other. First as being a member of a team, and then being a leader of a team as a company commander, as a battalion commander, and now I command a unit at the Pentagon. So, you know, that always appealed to me, and you know, I will leave the military this year, September 1st, after 33 years, and I always tell people that I will leave that organization owing it more than it owes me. You know, I joined not ever thinking that I would be in a faraway land, you know, in harm's way. Back in 2005, there were 4 members of the Staples class of 2005 who joined the Marine Corps right out of high school, okay? And they all had better options. The 4 of them, I still remember their names. It was Cal Walkup, Pat Scott, Orlando Figueroa, and Greg Jacobs. They all had other options, but it kind of encapsulates what Pat Scott said to me. Pat was a member of our, I think, 2004 state championship football team. Pat was the best of the linebackers in the state of Connecticut, so he had other options. But I will always remember something Pat said to me on the sidelines of one of the Staples games. He said, this is my country's Pearl Harbor, and why would I do anything except serve this country? There's never a second that I regretted joining the military. You know, it's been tough at some times. Obviously, you know, a year in Iraq is gonna test your mettle, it's gonna test your soul, it's gonna test everything you're made of. But I think that I would be much less of a person if I didn't experience that. I learned things about myself, I learned things about other soldiers, I learned things about this country that I could not have learned in the day-to-day comfortable life I live here. You know, I don't think I would have given that experience up for anything. And you know, it did end up being everything that I thought it would be in that environment. That, you know, you're really not there thinking about, you know, waving the flag. You're not there thinking about democracy. You're really thinking about the person on your left and the person on your right.
Thank you for sitting down and talking with us, Mr. Francis, and thank you for your service. Mr. Francis mentioned Pat, Cal, and others that went from Staples directly into the armed forces. That led Renee, along with Claire Dinshaw, to see if any present wreckers are planning similar career paths. Renee sat down first with Lucas Abed, and then the two of them talked to Henry Rizak.
Seeing as it's not a very common decision to join the Army from Fairfield County, what were the influencing factors in your decision?
The main reason for me wanting to serve is because the military is all volunteer, and about 6,800 troops gave their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan, and no one really bats their eyes at it, so I feel that it's better myself volunteer and serve and give back to those who gave to us rather than my friends or anyone else from this county.
Do you have any personal ties to any people in the troops, or is it just that you feel like this sense of responsibility to serve your country?
I don't have any ties necessarily. I just feel, like I said, I feel someone has to do it, and it's better I do it than one of my friends or another one of my family members or someone like that.
How did your family and friends react to your decision?
My friends took it both ways. I have a couple friends who don't want me to go. I have some friends that are also planning on joining. So a couple of them are my best friends, actually. My family, my brothers support me whatever I want to do, so do my parents, but like any other parent, they wouldn't want me in harm's way or anything like that.
So, seeing as you're pretty set on doing this, what are your steps to actually enlist in the military?
Well, I plan to go to school first semester and do ROTC, which hopefully some of you people know what that is. And then I plan to enlist spring semester in the National Guard to get school paid for and to be on deployable status.
Why are you not directly enlisting in the military? Why are you deciding to go to school?
That is because there are more jobs and opportunities as an officer than if you enlist straight out of high school without any college degree or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm going, next year I'm going to Tulane University, and there I'm doing a program called Navy ROTC. So pretty much I'm like any other student there. I have to take a couple extra naval science courses. I have to do like some training involved summer stuff. But then when I get out, I will start off as an officer in the Navy, and then I'll be required to do 5 years.
So, why have you decided to like leave your comfortable life after college and join the military?
Well, it's just something I've always wanted to do ever since the 5th grade. I've known I've wanted to join the military. My grandfather was in the Navy. My uncle's currently in the Air Force. So I have a lot of family who has served. And I feel like it's my responsibility to serve our country. It's just something I've wanted to do for a long time.
How did your family and friends react to your decision?
My friends have been really supportive about it. My mom was a little nervous about it, as any mother would, and my dad always really supported it. But I mean, everyone I've talked to has supported me, which I really appreciate.
We wish the best of luck to both Lucas and Henry. Memorial Day means different things to different people, and the meaning of it for both Lucas and Henry may very well change after their service. A few years ago, we had the honor of talking to Colonel Tom Armis, a Marine Corps and 9/11 hero. He had a very interesting take on what Memorial Day means to him.
I love the holiday of Memorial Day. I think it's probably should be our most important. Other than our religious holidays, this should probably be our most important, because the lives we have today, the cities we have today, the way of life we have today are on the backs of those who gave their lives.
Right.
But what I demand of people of that day is you should go out and enjoy that day. Baseball games, football games, whatever it is, barbecues, the beach. You owe it to those people to live your lives to the fullest.
Sam Kahn followed Colonel Armis's advice. She traveled to a Memorial Day tradition, the Weston Fair. Here's some of her images of the day.
All right. Yeah. Well, I must admit, I can't explain any of these thoughts racing through my brain. It's true. Baby, I'm howling for you.
We're at the Weston Fair. Record. I almost died. Yeah, I almost died. Awesome. I was hyperventilating, and I think I might have had a heart attack. But other than that, I'm great. It was awesome.
Can't you see? Little girls got a hold on me like glue. Baby, I'm howling for you. Yeah. Throw the ball to the stick. Swing and miss and catch us mid-strike too. Baby, I'm howling for you.
And it's like total insanity.
Outdoor stuff? Yeah.
At the conclusion of Colonel Armis's interview with J.J. Matheson, they talked about the importance of giving back to the community. They both commented about how special the Memorial Day Parade was. Each year, a great friend of Staples High School, Nick Pizarro, creates a stop-action animation of the parade. We'll finish our show today with the conclusion of Colonel Armis's and JJ's talk, along with Mr. Pizarro's view of the parade.
And on days like Memorial Day, you give thanks, but you also take advantage of everything you have and everything we have. And that's why, that's why people give their lives.
Right.
People don't give their lives for this grand notion of the United States of America. They give their lives for their hometowns, for their communities, for what they know. And there's nothing better than a hometown parade on Memorial Day.
Yeah, the Memorial Day parades are always really touching, and you know, it's a great place and a great way for people to come together, and that's something that, you know, oftentimes people forget. And you live in your house and you do your own thing, but the sense of community is obviously important, and that's something that Memorial Day for me has always brought Westport together. We have, the Westport parade and everything like that. That's something that we think is important.
You know, I looked at it as I was given the best childhood a person could be given.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more I could have been given, or not a better life I could have had as a child. And at some point in time, I realized, I've got to give back. I've been afforded all this opportunity, and now it's time to give back and make a difference. And whatever way that is, and it doesn't have to be the military, it doesn't have to be law enforcement, in any way. Give back to your community for having given all this privilege.
Right.
You should give something back and make this, make the U.S., make your town a better place for you having been there.